All right, big knowledge. Big
So,
knowledge. Where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York. And tell me about your family growing up. You had mom and dad?
And my mother, my pops, he was doing him. He was getting money. You know,
What did your dad do for money?
got money. He was a Panamanian in New York in the 70s and 80s. So you do the math.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
get
mean?
it.
But he got a lot of money
Good childhood?
for the most part. I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn in the 80s and 90s, the birthplace of crack and all that. So it was about as good as it could be watching, your neighborhood turn to shit.
So you took to the streets early?
Man, we kind of all really did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you was, I say all real street dudes started early. All that coming in the streets when you like 30, kind of in a way. Like, whatever you've been doing for the past few years, like, you should stick to that. Like, by the time I was 8, 9 years old, me and my little cousin me and my older cousin, we were breaking into houses. You know, we broke into the plug's house one time, and he thought it was his girl and beat the shit out of her. Yeah, he thought that was his shorty. Cause we broke in, we climbed the telephone pole and went over to, that shit was dangerous. Went over to the window and went up in there, and we just took stuff, we didn't even know what it was. We was taking drugs, we took money. But he ended up thinking that it was his girl and beat the dog shit out of her. We heard it outside, he was beating the hell out of her. When I was like 8, 9. Then from there, it was whatever, you know.
How'd you get introduced to the game?
The game. The game was always around me, from various sources. In New York, well, Brooklyn at the time, you had like different types of underworlds, you know what I mean? You had the stick-up kids. It wasn't really a lot of scamming back then. It was, the stick-up kid. The Africans were scamming. You had the car thieves. There's a lot of car thief crews. You had the boosting crews. And certain crews just moved in the same circles. So, like the big drug dealers, pimps, rappers, they moved into certain circles because they was the ones that was getting money. So I was with the drug dealers at first, you know what I mean? And one of my OGs, one of my mentors, he kind of told me that I could be doing other things. It wasn't like I wasn't making money. I was making a bunch of money. But, he was like, it started at a strip club. We was at the strip club, we had just got paid. I was doing insurance fraud or some shit back then. And these paychecks was decent, 15 bands, 10 bands, a week or so. And we up in the strip club, and my uncles and I'm over there, they BMFing, blowing money fast all over the place. Pops pulled me to the side and he like, listen, I want to talk to you. So this old man kept me at the bar and just talked to me the whole time. I'm watching them over there having a ball. They over there wilding, girls everywhere. So I'm sitting there out of respect talking to Pops. Then at the end of the night, he just stopped with the jibber jab and the bullshit. He was really just stalling me so I didn't go over there with them. And at the end of the night, funny, I just spoke to the guy who this happened with. He at the end of the night, he said, now this is the good part. It was this chick that my uncles and them have been throwing mad money on. He said, now you see that girl right there, that pretty little red bone right there? He said, she about to go over here and give all my son and your stupid ass uncles money to this guy over here. This the good part. And I watched her go over there and just go, she had the tall boots on. And she went in the boots, started pulling out all this money and just like checked it in. And I was like this. He said, now, if you want to go give away your money, just go give it to old boy. He said, you can get smart. He said, what's the difference between you and him? He said, you have all them girls coming by the house all the time, but you still out here hustling and running around with guns, and like, you need to chill. So one day, I took his advice. You know what I'm saying? The rest is history, man.
It's a better lifestyle, right? Safer.
Ain't nothing safe about it. You know what I mean? That's a misconception. Ain't no safety in it, you know? That's why you got these young cats, they coming around now. All they see is the glitz and glamour, you know? They see the big cars and houses and, you know, all the irrelevant shit. But when I called my case, I was looking at 174 years.
174 years.
Yeah, so that part, how safe that shit feel. You know what I'm saying? I'd have been better off. I could have actually shot like 3 people and not been looking at that much time. You see what I'm saying? So it's not real safety. You gotta, back when I was heavy in the game, you know, there was a lot of traveling with females, wearing a bunch of jewelry, fur coats, luxury cars in strange towns. So, you know, how safe is that?
You've been out of prison for how long?
22 months.
And you did how long? How much?
7.5 years.
7.5 years.
Yeah.
So you kind of transitioned into that new hustle at what age?
Okay. We talking like 96, 98 heavy, like going into the 2000s heavy. I was dabbling in the 90s, but I had such a mean catch on that my dabble was different than other people's dabble. Like for me, dabbling was having 3 chicks making a bunch of money, but I was getting a lot of money doing my other stuff that the game money didn't impress me, you know? And I was making money, you know, but the game hadn't yet impressed me. It was only when I just started focusing on the game, then I seen, okay, right, where you could take it to the next levels, and you know, next thing you know, you got a house with an elevator in it and exotic wildcats running through your house, you know what I mean? Monkeys and chinchillas, and I used to buy all kind of shit. That was the thing though, you know, how exotic, how rare, how different, you know what I mean? It was really about, you know, guys who really did it, like when we was doing it. Because, you know, now, you know, I'm what they call an OG, a dinosaur. Like, you know, I'm retired, you know, I'm the guy that a lot of guys is running my old plays. You know what I mean? Like I'm like Popovich or something like that, you feel me?
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
44. Well, I'll be 44 in a couple days.
You're not that old.
For the streets, man, listen, I got shot when I was 19, flatlined and all that. You ain't even supposed to be here. So for the streets, 44, I'm a senior citizen. In my hood, you feel what I'm saying? I got cousins that died at 23, 24. I got a lot of great friends. Like from 2001 to 2003, I went to like 23 funerals. A lot of people was getting killed. So, you know, I'm a senior citizen in the streets. You know, a lot of us don't make it that far to be on the streets. You know what I mean?
Streets in New York are similar to the streets in LA. Same story.
Yeah and no. See, New York, I make a distinction. I'm from Brooklyn. It's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big difference between Brooklyn, Harlem, and Queens, you know. We dealt with a grittier reality. Our shit was more in your face, you know. Brooklyn was where you could really come to die, you feel me? Like the blocks I grew up on was notorious, like, you know, for like brutal shit. Like, you know, I seen somebody get their head blown off when I was like 6, 7 years old in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like mobile police stations parked on the corner. You got cops, like if there's an intersection, there's 2 cops here, 2 cops there, 2 cops there, 8 cops for the intersection. You feel me? Cameras on light poles and TNT squads. You know, so it was a different reality for us at that time. Whereas though in other places in the city, these guys was getting money. It wasn't that cats in Brooklyn wasn't getting money. It was just that everybody wasn't getting money. See, when you was up in Harlem and Queens, there was a lot of dudes out in these places getting a lot of money. So they shit looked different. Brooklyn, it was only select few that was getting money. So you around wolves, you're around lions, you're around people, you're around the have-nots. So they want what you got. So to like wear diamonds and jewelry and drive luxury cars, you had to be a certain type of dude. You You feel what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't just be no sucker getting money in Brooklyn, you know? Like,
That flash is almost flaunting it in the face of everyone.
I'm from Tuck Your Chain land, and that ain't about being a punk. That's you don't keep waving steak in front of wild animals and expect nothing to happen to you. Not unless you just want to walk around with your gun out all day, and that's kind of corny if you're trying to get money. So, you know, we used to pull our chains out at the club, and, you know, we flossed the club, you know, but we got guns stashed behind dumpsters. I remember going to stash my gun behind a dumpster one day, and there was already 2 guns behind it. I was like, oh, hell no. You know, like, but, you know, putting guns in wheel wells of cars that was close to the front door of the car, to the club. That was how we had to move, you know, just to go to the club for the weekend and hope all of us make it back home, because a shootout was definitely gonna happen. Clubbing in Brooklyn, somebody was shooting. Like it was just when the shootout happened. Did we get to do the whole party, or was it after? You know, but you know that was the reality of what I grew up in. You know,
And the game has changed over the years, right?
I don't even respect what they call the game nowadays. That's why I ain't part of it. Like, I'm cool. You know, it's sad what's going on now. And I say that because, see, when I was coming in the game, we had love for each other. We was all getting money. You know, there's a lot of money floating around. I'm talking about real money. Like, when even the broke dudes is getting real money. Like, you know, and it wasn't all the disrespect. And these guys went around here disrespecting each other. They got these girls doing all these weird drugs, and you know, and then they don't do nothing for the females that they dealing with. Like, your female was always your status symbol. So if you was a high level asset out here, they could tell by your shorty, you know, she was something different. You know, like when she was out there moving and grooving, we had our females jumping out of Range Rovers and, you know what I mean, Porsches, and like some cats had them in Rolls Royces, you know what I mean? Like minks to the floor, you know, iced out watches, you know, like really, like they look like NBA wives, as they should. Now these shorties be looking like junkies, and
Yeah.
you know, like I have yet to see a movement where there's guys out here actually caring about what they doing. Now it's just about being loud, annoying, making noise and disrespecting other people. The females don't even understand why they in the game.
Yeah. Everyone looks broke.
Yeah, you know, like, and the funny thing is, I be, you know, a lot of dudes reach out to me, OG, mentor me, and whatever. And, you know, I don't waste my breath on a lot of dudes because I got other things to do, but there's some cats that I actually see, they got potential to do things. So I mentor them outside the game, you know. I be telling them, hold on one second. I be telling them about this, I be telling them about crypto. You know what I mean? And I'm about to check mine right quick. Woo! See that? See, that's what you put your money in, where you can wake up every day, look, see 14, 15, 20 grand. See, I got a new hustle. You feel what I'm saying? Take a couple, 3 grand here, 4 grand here, throw it in the market. You know what I mean? So when dudes be asking me to mentor them, that's where I take it for them. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you got any crypto? You diversifying your life? Think about life outside of the game. See, the game is cute, you know. There's a lot of guys in the penitentiary used to ask me, oh man, big dog, show me. And I used to always tell them, my man, you know what the punchline of this joke you asking me about is? Where we at? We sitting here in the day room in prison. You know, like, I had to pay a lot of money and a lot of stress and that I put on my family, and I had a kid that had just been born, you know, while I was in jail. And I'm in prison now, you feel what I'm saying? Fuck all the money. Fuck the Maseratis, the Porsches, the this, the that, man. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't mean nothing when you sitting in prison. Everybody ordered the same $150 bag of bullshit food. And now this is money. This food is money. Somebody will come fuck you up for a bag, you know, because you owe them 10 bags of chips and some fish pouches, you know what I mean? So it's a different reality when you hit prison. You know what I mean? And a lot of cats don't prepare for outside of the game. So when prison hit them, they done fucked up their money on worthless, useless shit. You know, they just want to take pretty pictures for Instagram. You know, and the females are so goofy. While your daddy is taking the pretty pictures on Instagram, your pictures look weird. You know, all your pictures got you in like light up heels and stripper outfits in the middle of the street. That wasn't fly shit. Like in my era, that wasn't how, you wouldn't even let your people get filmed like that. You know what I mean? Wouldn't let her post a picture like that. Wouldn't let her put herself out there like that. Cause that's representing you. You know, these bitches be out there with like $8 worth of clothes on. You know, my people used to go out there like really looking different. But I'm the king of Midtown. This is Midtown you talking about. You can't go out there looking weird. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you gotta look like you belong in Midtown. This Midtown Manhattan. There's a lot of money around here. You feel me? Everywhere they go, it's Rolls Royces, diplomats. You wouldn't believe the people that come through the door, man. Like, and you know, you get a call. You wouldn't believe who I'm here with. Who? I'm like, oh, all right, cool. You know, like, but it was an everyday thing in Midtown. To make $10, $15, $20,000 in a night was really nothing. You know, so we moved at a different pace. You know, now these kids they got this thing called quota. As long as they make $1,000, they are happy. And then they go blow 600 out the 1,000 because they got to live in the hotel and pay for the rental, and everybody got to eat, and then they got to pay for everybody's various drugs. And you know, by the time we done took care of the drug habits and the food and all that, I need y'all to go out and get some more money.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Before I beat you up. And that's another thing now, you know, they want to beat these broads up. And that was what we call running out of pimping. Like, you had to beat the bitch up? Damn. You couldn't talk to her? Like, you know, one of my mentors told me, he said, listen, if you ain't had to beat the bitch up to get her out here, you shouldn't have to beat her up to get her to do what she need to do. You feel me? So I always stuck with that. So when you ready to choke her out or kick her ass and all that, you running out of game, like fast. As fast as you getting mad and getting up, you running out of game right now. This is a representation of you. This is somebody that's in your household. So after you beat up, then you're gonna send out there. Now everybody gonna say, damn, he be beating the shit out of this. But like, it's not a good look. You know, that's not, ain't no prestige in that, you know. You don't get no points for that.
You think the game is fading away? It's overrun with these low-level street hustlers.
Faded away, the game will never go nowhere. I mean, let's just be honest.
Prostitution's always been around.
I mean, see, prostitution ain't the game. Prostitution is the act that females do while they out there, you know what I mean, and out of the game. Prostitution is not the game. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know about the fucking prostitution. I don't you know what I mean? Fuck is prostitution? You know what I mean? The game is the game. The game got rules. The game got principles. You feel what I'm saying? Like, prostitution will always be around, but that's not the game. See, the game is when you take a female or a set of females and put them with their king. You know what I mean? You take some queens and put them with their king. Well, they're not even queens when they show up a lot of times. That's the king's job. You know what I mean? I always tell people, kings make queens. I mean, even in old times, like a queen could be whatever, but she had to marry and make it, because the empire could not be ran without a king. You know what I mean? If you're a chess player, you know all the queen's moves is in protection of the king. You feel me? And if you push the right pawns forward, you can have as many queens on the board as you want. You know what I mean? So they come as pawns and you make them queens. But these motherfuckers nowadays, they take them where they at and fuck them up even more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, y'all ain't even trying to build nobody. Y'all ain't even trying to help nobody. You know what I mean? Like, you just want to, bring everybody over to your crib with your 3-5 bedrooms and run it like a halfway house. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you want a room? Go over there. And that's your room. And bro, I wasn't raised in the game like that. You was always supposed to be able to sustain a household and a bankroll. That went for every female. She got to maintain this household. That's everything that comes with this household. The bills, and a bankroll. You know what I mean? That's how that household grows, and this household grows. It's a team effort, but just like on every team, the players don't go home together. We come to the game, show up at the game, we play our ass off, and then we go to our separate residences so that we can live our lives. You know what I mean? But when we show up on the court and we show up at the game, we all ready to play the game, you know, together as a team. A lot of times the members don't even get along, you know. Kobe and Shaq didn't get along, but boy, did they have action. They made money. They brought championships. I ain't got to be your friend to win with you, you know? A lot of these dudes is more interested in what it looked like than what it actually is. They rather look good on camera than be good in real life. That's why I tell dudes, you know, my real life is better than the fake one you made up for yourself on Instagram, you know? And a lot of cats don't get that. Like, what you see with big knowledge is what you get. You know, I don't do no extra because I don't give a fuck about what people think. I mean, I say what I feel. You know what I mean? If it's real, it's real. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's righteous, it's righteous. I mean, a lot of these dudes are just part of the pack. You know, they go along with the flow.
What do you live by that separates you from the pack?
I live by the code. Like, it's really a code. You know, you don't tell on your friends. You know what I mean? You don't shit on your friends. The whole team eats. You know, these is the principles that came. Fuck the game. That's the code of the streets. You feel me? Everybody on the team eat. That was all the successful crews you saw. It was where everybody could pull up in a fly whip, and everybody had a nice crib, and everybody had bags of money. Like, even back to the Supreme Team and the Furtados, all these big drug crews from back in the day. Everybody had money. That's what made it work. You know, when it's just one guy sitting at the top and everybody else look like they struggling, how that look? That's not a strong team. That's a strong individual. You know, my uncle taught me that when he starved the whole team out. And I used to just see how there was another crew. And when these dudes, this is when I was doing the Sherman's Fraud, when these dudes used to pull up, they used to look different when they pulled up. You feel me? Like, they used to look real different. Like, Benzes, trucks, and 4 of them. We all riding with this nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Because he done shorted us on all our money and played us. So we can't afford the nice car. We can't afford to do this and that. You feel me? And I just used to see how much better the winning team looked as a part of the winning dude. You feel what I'm saying? We used to go to the club. We didn't even have nowhere for chicks to fit. We 4 deep in the Escalade. Where the fuck we gonna take chicks at? These other niggas, they packing them in. Yeah, we got room in the Benz, we got room in the Lexus, they packing them in and sliding up out the club. So, you know what I mean? But that's that big me, little you mentality. That bring down empires.
There's a lot of that flaunting that goes on in the black culture.
Well,
and a lot of it's, I think,
it's just in the hood
for sure.
Culture. It's because you grow up not having.
That's what it is. Yeah.
This is the things you see. These are the things that you aspire to. These are the things that you associate with money. It's breaking that thought pattern for people that helps you create generational wealth. It's knowing that the game is a tool. It's not a career. It's not you know what I mean? It's a catalyst. It's supposed to take you to the next level. It's something you're supposed to use as a foundation for the next level. But a lot of people don't think about the next level. It's just right now, self-gratification. It's going, we moving, we shaking. You know what I mean? I could post some weird pictures and say some funny shit. And it sound cute. You feel what I'm saying? But what's the reality of that? What's the outcome? You know? I was always taught garbage in, garbage out. You know what I mean? You put garbage into a motherfucker, that's all you're gonna get out of it. You feed your body garbage, expect to look like shit. You know what I mean? So don't expect nothing good to happen from your situation when you don't have nothing good going on with your situation. You know what I mean? A lot of these dudes be shitting on these females, and then they be like, oh man, she's a punk, she's a this, she's a that. Come on, bruh. She's a punk. Whipping this broad's ass, taking her money, ain't there shit for her. And then when she stopped fucking with you, or you gave her one ass whooping too much, and she said, you know what, I gotta get away from you. And she went to the police. You know what I mean? And they be like, oh, she's a snitch. Nah, she's a chick. You know what I mean? She about 120 pounds, and she's terrified. And she knows that these motherfuckers with these badges and guns can get your ass the fuck away from me right now. I'm tired of taking these ass whoopings because you fucking up the money at the casino. I'm tired of taking these ass whoopings because you got a Percocet habit. I'm tired of taking these ass whoopings because you want to shop every week. So you got $40,000 worth of clothes, but you ain't never had $40,000 worth of cash. You know what I mean? But you want to keep fucking her up or blacking out on her because you fucking up the money. You know? So that leads to indictments or chicks just not fucking with you and seeking a better life elsewhere. But then dudes want to be like, oh man, she ain't shit. She's a fag, she's a punk. Can't really say that, you know? Oh man, all these bitches is all renegades, they ain't fucking with no pimps. A lot of bros just don't want to fuck with y'all niggas. It's not like they don't want a motherfucker that's in their corner. They don't want a P, they don't want a gentleman that's gonna be solid for them. But they just know y'all not that. You know, they could tell by your track record. They could see by what you've done. You know, so you got a lot of females out here that's just, they outlaws. They running outside the game doing what they do. Pig farmers, as we call them. You feel me? They just out here doing their thing, but it's not because, see, there's a difference between what they call renegade now and a broad that just don't want to fuck with nobody right now. It's not that she don't want to fuck with nobody. She just ain't found somebody genuine that she really sees is going to have her best interests at hand, that she sees a bright future with. Like, because I know some chicks that leave the last dude and just do way better by theyself, and then go back and get with the motherfucker and lose the little bit of shit they got when they was on their own. Because even with a starter kit, a lot of these motherfuckers can't do shit. You know, there's no vision. But they got that AOB, that all on the bitch mentality. And it's not really how it go. It's like you don't take the bitch money and blow it and come back and say, all right, bitch, come on, bring me some more, bring me some more. It's on you. Yeah, that's right, I fucked up 2,000 at the casino, but bitch, go get me some more. And the sad part is there's way too many females out here that just accept that and they really think that that shit is cute. I'm like this, that's a damn shame. You like really, you like flaunting his stuff. They be all up in their dude car taking pictures. That's not your life though. Because when he's done with you, the car gonna stay. You walking. And he probably take you a little bit of clothes that he gave you and give it to the other chick. That's the new thing too. Give the old clothes to the new bitch. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of not knowing your value out here. That's why these females ain't making the right decisions. Yeah, if you don't know your value as a female, you'll settle for anything. I know my value. That's why I don't settle for anything.
What role models did you have as a kid growing up?
My grandpops, my pops.
Were they hustlers?
Yeah. My grandpops was the local loan shop and the church guy. And my pops was my pops. Like, he kind of legendary himself. My pops is different because he made two legends, one in the streets and one in the fashion world. It's different. My pops got a mean bloodline, for real.
And you have kids?
I got 5 kids.
And you're raising them?
Of course. The difference between having kids and being a father, like I take care of all mine. You know, 3 of them grown, so there's that. You know? Like, and one of them in prison. He went to prison while I was in prison. The other one just turned 18. He's about to be 19. And then my other son, his mom went to jail while I was away and she lost him. So I'm still trying to figure out where he at. And then I lost contact with her again, so there's that, you know what I mean?
And your grown sons that are not in prison are in the streets or they're doing something?
Well, I got a baby. That's a young boy. He's a few months. And then I got my daughter. She's 8. And yeah, she's doing her thing, you know, good student. Daddy's girl, spoiled rotten. But man, I was spoiling her from jail. Like I was sending her $1,000 gifts from the penitentiary. Like so, you know, I kind of did a lot for her because you know to compensate for me not being there. So now she's like a little daddy's little princess type of deal, you know.
What separates a successful hustler from a low level?
Discipline. A lot of these people don't have discipline. You know, they too in a rush to show off. Like for the same dudes that seen big knowledge in the trucks. I came in the game, I had a Navigator with a bunch of TVs in it, like crazy system. I said I had money. I was already getting money. I was doing other things. But it was the discipline. Like, I slept on the A train before. I slept on park benches. You feel what I'm saying? I slept on the park bench in my hood. And my bros came out there and was like, why you sleeping on the here? Like, where everybody can see you. Nigga, this is my hood. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me here. I'm gonna stay right the fuck here and go to sleep. Cause y'all see me. You feel what I'm saying? I get on the A train and go all the way uptown and come downtown and go all the way uptown. Do that 4 times. I got me enough sleep to get back out there. And I used to do this for $4,000, $5,000 in my pocket. But I knew I needed that $4 or $5,000 to make other moves. You know what I mean? So I'm not in a rush though. Like, you got people that save up to buy jewelry. Like they'll save up their little $30,000, $40,000 just to go buy some jewelry and be broke again to have to. My man, like, bro, like that shit is really not that relevant. It's really not that serious. My man, I like just making money and keeping it. The fact of knowing that, and this is something somebody told me. He said, look, can you afford to buy it right now? Like, yeah, he said, can you afford to buy it twice? I said, I can afford to buy it 3 times. He said, well, just knowing that should give you satisfaction. You don't actually have to. See, when you go out there and the jewelry, the cars, the clothes, that doesn't show how much money you have. That shows how much money you've blown. You know what I mean? That's not a $100,000 car. That's what you paid for it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a $50,000 chain. That's what you paid for it. So I tell dudes that all the time. They be like, oh man, you see, I got the 20,000 on my neck. No. It's probably about 6,000, 7,000 you got on your neck. You had to pay them for the craftsmanship. I'm a jeweler. I'm not gonna sell you the same weight in gold for at price and I'm gonna do the work. What do I get paid for then? I'm gonna buy my gold, I'm gonna melt it down, I'm gonna do your designs, I'm gonna do your chains, I'm gonna do your logos, I'm gonna do all of that. You're gonna pay me for my craftsmanship, I'm an artist. So that's what you're paying me for. Now actual weight in gold and diamonds, it's gonna be a lot less than what you paid for. So you just lost some money. You know what I mean? Your brand new $100,000 car, loss. Your $1,200 shoes, big loss, stupid loss. You know what I'm saying? I got $1,200 on my feet. No, you don't. The guy you bought them from has $1,200 in his cash register. You have about $80 worth of material on your feet. And they beat you over your head with the craftsmanship because the reality is, I'm a wholesaler to somebody, you know, I gotta have my margin on it. So me as the maker, I'm gonna put it at a low enough cost for somebody else to sell it for me and they can add their price to it. So people wanna see nice margins when they do business. So I'm as the maker, I'm trying to get it done at the smallest price possible. You see what I'm saying? So when we're working like that, you got about $8 worth of material on your feet that you gave somebody $1,200 for. So it's knowing what's really relevant is what people in the game ain't getting in the streets, period. You know, it's knowing that shit you blowing your money on, trying to look like a rapper who talking about the streets, but he's not in the streets. See, he raps and gets $300,000 for a show and then talks about street shit. And he takes the $300,000 that he got from the show that your girlfriend went to, and he goes and buys more of this shit that you really can't afford. You know, and you breaking your neck trying to live this life, live this facade. So that's what got the game broken right now. There's no values. There's no code. There's no morals. You got motherfuckers screaming, we don't love them hoes. Well, why are you pimping if you don't love hoes? You should love the shit out them hoes, man. Them hoes love you. You know what I mean? You don't love the hoes? Like, wow. That's like being a drug dealer saying, I don't like drug users. Like, what? How are you gonna make money? You know, then you abuse your source of income. You abuse the income that came from your source of income. You know, so it's a whole pattern of abuse that probably started with patterns of abuse from when a lot of these guys was raised up. But you know, these chicks is out here with the crack babies. You know, a lot of these guys out here now was born in the crack era. You know, their parents wasn't around. You know what I mean? Fuck your mom or your dad not being around. A lot of people know what that feel like. They was raised in foster homes. So their value system is fucked up. So they was raised by the system. So it was a whole lot of pain and abuse that came from the system. And they just, you know, give it back. You know?
Repeat the pattern.
Yeah. And it was, I say my generation, we was the golden era of hip hop, the golden era of everything. You know, like when you think about all of the guys that's out now who are rappers, they always say they mention the Rakims and the this and the that because these were the guys that was real poets. These were the guys that was about their craft. You know, Scarfaces. These were the guys that was telling the story and the pain from the streets. So this is where they got their things from. But then that sense of values left the streets. So now everybody out here now just want to do drugs, shake ass, and kill. That's this whole generation doing. Drugs, the bitches is shaking ass, and the niggas is trying to kill each other. You know, they idolize the shooter. The shooter's a pawn on the board. The boss ain't doing the shooting. You telling me you a shooter, let me know how much money you not getting. Really? You the shooter? I don't want the shooter hanging around me. The shooter is who I call to go, look, I'm gonna give you whatever you feel as though your life is worth to go handle this for me right quick. That's the shooter. There's no honor in being a shooter. I came up in a generation that bred the bosses. Feel what I'm saying? Biggie Smalls and all, these was bosses. These was guys you looked at, they was bosses. You know, we emulated the boss image. These dudes running around here looking weird and off drugs. If you popping pills all day and sipping lean, you a junkie, my nigga. You not that. And your shorty giving you this money wondering why y'all not getting nowhere because he's a junkie. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't that. You know? You got to have discipline. That's what's fucking the game up. Nobody got discipline. Without discipline, there's disrespect. Without order, there's anarchy and chaos. You gotta have order. Going to prison taught me that. It's dudes I met in prison that I'm glad they built prisons. These dudes belong in prison. They belong in cages for the rest of their lives. They've done some weird fucking shit. You know what I mean? Motherfucking weird shit to kids and old people and women and just weird shit. There's a place for everybody. There has to be discipline. There has to be law. There is no law. There is no discipline. And the ones that are supposed to be enforcing the law and the discipline, they're going with the flow. They're making excuses. You know what I mean? The black community, the black man is being, you know, they taking the masculinity out of the community. They got these boys running around here looking like sissies and weirdos. And if you don't go along with it, you homophobic. Nah, listen. Don't really know. A lot. They think black men in the culture is homophobic. The average black dude don't give a fuck what you do. Who you fucking, who dick you sucking. Nobody give a fuck about that. Just don't fuck with my money. You know what I'm saying? That's how real G's give a fuck. You know what I mean? That's what we really care about. Don't fuck with my money. You know what I mean? So you could be whatever you want to be, however you want to be. You know what I mean? But when you start promoting it to the degree where it's affecting a culture and you're making being a drug addict the norm. All the rappers is drug addicts. So the kids grow up to idolize these guys. All the rappers is, you know, more effeminate now than they've ever been. So the kids growing up thinking this is cool. I think it's taking the choice away because the ones that are supposed to be the role models and the heroes, these are the ones that's victimizing these kids mentally right now. So the game is a product of that. Warren Buffett said, in 5 years, you'll be the product of the books you read and the people you surround yourself with. 90% of these kids don't read books. They get all the information from the internet, Instagram, you know? That's what they call the news. I saw it on the gram. All right, whatever. That's what they think. That's what validates their life. Instagram, Twitter. You feel what I'm saying? I don't take none of that shit as seriously as everybody else. I'm too rooted in reality. See, when your reality is solid, that other shit is, you realize how irrelevant that other shit is. You know? You realize how irrelevant that goofy shit is when your reality is solid. You know? I don't drive rental cars. You know? I don't do nothing I can't afford to do. I don't mistreat my females. You feel what I'm saying? That was never my thing. You know? That's why every female that dealt with me still fucks with me. We still friends. We still cool. I still call and check on their kids, see how everybody's doing. I mean, I still, you know, am interested in what happened with their life because the time we spent together and whatever we did when we was doing whatever we was doing, it meant something. You feel what I'm saying? You wasn't just a piece, a cog in the wheel, as they say, that when it broke, fuck it, replace the wheel. Nah, what we did meant something. We was building an empire. Everybody don't always see eye to eye, you know? Just like a basketball team. They have their little dynasty years and then people go to get traded, they go other places. That don't mean that it's not still love there. That don't mean that it's not still that bond that, yeah, remember when we got them 5 championships, you know what I mean? So it's always gonna be that love. Even for bros I don't exactly see eye to eye with alike anymore. You know what I mean? I respect what you did while you was here. I don't have no animosity toward anybody that I ever dealt with. I don't hate nobody I ever dealt with. You know what I mean? Because it was love while you was here. You feel me?
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Learning what to place value on. You know, a lot of these kids out here will never experience the type of money I've experienced. I had 2 $20,000 cats. You know what that is? Like, and then I had some $10,000 dogs. You feel what I'm saying? A fleet of cars outside. Like $500,000 in cars. I spent $500,000 on cars. A lot of people will never experience that. But see, once you bought everything, you went to the shoe store and you got all the everything that you ever, you done did all that, right? You done traveled, and you're still just making this fucking money. That's when you start doing crazy shit. That's why you see rappers with cheetahs and all that, because they just, fuck it, I want to buy it because I can afford it. Because at that point, money becomes irrelevant. When you used to getting money, it starts to become irrelevant. It's like, all right, well, yeah, I made some more money. You feel me? The money really becomes irrelevant. So then you learn, going to prison tells you what's really valuable. Because once they took the cars and all that shit, and I'm sitting in here doing my time, but I'm getting pictures of my daughter. People was dying. You know what I mean? People that was fine when I went home, they sick now. That's the shit the money ain't gonna pay for. I done bought new cars and cribs and, you know, trinkets and, you know, shit that's replaceable. But, you know, my cousin that died while I was gone, before I had time to make amends for some shit we was going through, I can't get that back. You feel what I'm saying? It's my cousin, he died, and we was beefing over some shit that we shouldn't even be beefing over. I ain't gonna get a chance to fix that shit, you know what I mean? So that's what life is really about, knowing what's valuable, knowing what has value. And once you learn that, then you learn what not to hold in such high regard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you learn what not to place so much energy on. You know, if you're a stand-up dude, and not just in the streets, just as a man, if you're a stand-up man, you got the best interest for the people around you. You don't fuck over your friends. You don't shit on the people that's loyal to you and good to you. You know, we had a rule, spoil the loyal. When you're that type of individual, life treats you good. You don't have a lot of regrets. Even if you go to prison or whatever, you still, because while we in prison, we sitting looking at the books. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, none of us want to end up in prison, but is you really gonna say you didn't have fun while you was doing it? You feel me? Like, it's a roller coaster. We enjoy the highs and the lows. You know what I mean? But would you change it? No, you learn from it. You know, if you're the same man at 30 that you was at 20, you wasted 10 years of your life. And the same thing proceeds up the ladder. It's a growing process, and it makes you the man. Like, it all has a build-up, like a movie. You know, it starts here in the growing pains and the this, that, and the third, and then you get your values and your principles. My pops taught me the biggest value, and I don't even think he know he did that. When I was a kid, and my mom's and him was going through something, and they tried to take me from my father, and we was running through a parking lot, and dude Link, the dude my mother was dating, and my pops had like slipped, and he was holding me like this, and I'm looking up at him. You know what I mean? Because I'm like this, and he holding me like this, and dude got a gun to my pop's head. But my fam got the gun to his head. My pop said, "What you waiting for? Shoot him." And he said, "Listen, Junior, I got the gun cocked. He got his gun cocked. If I shoot him, he gonna kill you." My pops looked at me, kissed me, and said, "Man, shoot him anyway." You feel me? That taught me die for what you believe in. At the end of the day, he wasn't about to fold. You know what I mean? And when he kissed me with all the intensity of, this might be the last time I see my son. But when that dude, seeing how far my father was willing to go for what he believed in, that was when he backed off. Because when you're dealing with a man that's willing to die for his principles, then that shows where you stand on yours. You know?
All right. Big knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing your story, man. Very
All
interesting.
right.
Thank you very much.